approaching a lender in an effective way. Sonny, I think you basically dropped the mic with your presentation. We probably could just go right to lunch after everything you said. Preach. Other people's money. So what we're going to talk about is the hard money side. So he was talking about the private money side, and on both ends, there are pros and cons to both. Like with private money, obviously you have some flexibility. You can kind of dictate the terms. You can negotiate a little bit more. Me and Mike were laughing a little bit when you were talking because sometimes borrowers think that they can do that with us, which in a way, we're obviously hard money, without going and doing a whole history lesson, his hard money used to be basically like what the Wild Wild West was. You'd kind of just dictate the terms, throw the money out. Now it's become, over the last 10 years, it is almost like...
I would say when Gabe started, it was definitely the Wild West.
Yeah. Well, also, and also just to give you guys some context for us, we started off as a pure private lender. Before Matt was ever even in real estate, I was a personal trainer. I didn't even know Mike at the time. I was in a gym. Mark Colazzo, our founder with David Hansel, Mark was lending out his own money to other mortgage professionals in his business. He was an appraiser, started a title company. We just recently had Rich, his partner, on our Alpha U webinar. So I'll plug some of that stuff in a little bit. But Mark was lending his own money out to people, and he saw, wow, I could get 14% on my money, charge 4 points. This is when it was 14 and 4. But think about it though, but even then, like if you're getting 100% financing or 80% total project costs, you're putting up a fifth of what it costs to do this project. But then when you're done, you're collecting 100% of the profits. So even if it was 14 and 4, opportunity cost, you were talking about it before, Sonny, what is more important to you? So we'll talk a little bit about hard truth on hard money. I'll do a quick little, this one. Meet Mike and Matt. I'm going to quickly introduce Michael. Michael is my partner. He's our CEO at Alpha Funding. I have had the absolute pleasure over the last 8 years to work alongside this guy. When I didn't even know anything about real estate, and I'll be completely vulnerable with you guys, I had no idea what I was doing. I was a personal trainer. I have a degree in biology, exercise science. I wanted to go into medicine. I decided not to become a doctor. And I got into Alpha, and I'm seeing these things with notes and mortgages and interest rates and annualizing this, and I'm like, what is all this stuff? But I remember, and really quickly, I'm going to plug Gabe. Gabe was one of the first phone calls I ever made 8 years ago. So he was talking about his journey. And it's like,
because I wasn't allowed to call Gabe at that moment. I wasn't allowed to call
and then he's going to talk
moment.
in a second about that. But just to give you guys context, this room is so powerful, and it gets me emotional a little bit because 8 years I've been in the business. I've become a partner at Alpha Funding. I'm an owner now. I've seen our company grow and evolve. So many of you in the room, I was at the event last night and we were talking about deals that we've done together, deals that are coming up. Gabe was one of the first phone calls I made, and I've seen him grow over the last 8 years, and I've seen a lot of you in the room grow. Jay, I was telling Pam from Simplicity, and we were talking about your growth over this past year. It's been exponential, incredible. And being able to work alongside our borrowers, we're not just your hard money lender. Like, we really are side by side with you. We're not truly private, we can in some cases, like we do lend out our own money, but most of the stuff that we do, we're a hard money lender, we're institutionalized, we have a process, we're systemized, we've evolved over the years. So we've grown, from that private lender into obviously basically like a 24/7 7-Eleven for hard money. If you guys need money for a deal, we have the capital for you, as long as it fits the metrics. But going back to Mike here, Mike obviously oversees our capital management. He does our operations, underwriting. When you think of Alpha, the reason why Alpha is what it is because a lot of the systems that this man's put in place, and he's done an incredible job. He's made my job so easy on a daily basis. He recently just celebrated his 10th anniversary at Alpha Funding. We had a big little party at the office, and he recently just caught the golfing bug, and now he's all excited. He's just hoping that his elbow holds up, but he's getting into golf. This is his second year now, but this is Michael Strasser.
Yeah, and thanks, Matt. I'll introduce Matt. So Matt's our CRO, Chief Revenue Officer. Like you said, I've known him for 8 years when he was a little wet behind the ears, and he was like, I'm gonna figure out this real estate thing. But it's been a journey, and I like him so much that I decided I wanted to spend even more time with him and do a podcast. I must like you a lot because we spent a lot of time together.
I'm pretty convincing.
The way I always like to joke is Matt's the face, I'm the voice. I'm the face you never see, and he's the face you see all the time. But no, it's been an incredible journey, and he's great at what he does. And what he learned through all this is that you need to understand some things, but not everything. And then the details come as you kind of go through it, like on the job training, relationships, right? Sonny's talking about it before. You got to build these relationships. People are going to give you money because of the relationships you build with them, right? Like that's like core to our business. This isn't Wells Fargo. This isn't Chase Bank. You're not buying a conventional house where you're never going to talk to your lender for another 5 years because you're living in your house. This is a business, this is velocity of money, right? Like all of you, the goal is to do multiple deals a year. Gabe, how many deals do you have going on right now? 7 deals at one time.
Those are
right?
some big projects.
So, but the idea is you have 7 deals going at one time. If you burn a relationship, like how do you keep 7 deals going when you're burning bridges as you go along? So that relationship, everybody comes to us and they go, I want to build a relationship with you. It's like dating, right? This guy was trying to date us and he was trying to slip me a roofie at the beginning of the date. And,
What?
And be like,
Okay, he just went left.
it didn't go left, but it's the truth, right? He's trying to say like, look over here, not over here. And that's not how you build relationships. We build relationships on honesty. You want me to tell you what the deals are. That's what we do. Like, so, and we're always, and Gabe can talk about it and other borrowers in here, like building relationships is a two-way street. And you can't pull on the first time I ever meet you. We're gonna do a deal right now, right? You wanna build a relationship, don't you? Yeah. I should like make $0 on your deal because we're gonna build a relationship together. No, right? I'm not gonna give you money for free. You want something from me, I need something for you. We're making an exchange and you build it over time. That's how with Gabe, 8 years later, we're doing, I can't even tell you how many deals we have out right now off the top of my head. But that's how you do it. You're building those different pieces. Like the reason why we're telling you a little bit of a horror story is like we want you guys to understand that we're seeking the same things from borrowers. Because the idea is always, how do you get to be a better borrower? How do you get a group like ours to figure out how to go to bat, to push the envelope, to make sure we can help? And it's that two-way street of honesty, right? It's that two-way street of it's understanding. Like we know what borrowers need to do. You need the best leverage. You need the lowest cost, and you need it yesterday. Not tomorrow, not 2 weeks from now. You needed it yesterday. We get that. What do we need from you? We need the understanding of a little bit of what it is we do and how we do it, and the honesty to tell us exactly what's going on with what you're doing.
Yeah. So with that, obviously we funded the project, but he's paying more than what he promised us he had or told us he had. So it happens sometimes. You know, obviously I'm not going to hold it against him. Maybe behind closed doors a little bit, but
No.
But we're moving forward. What I do want to do is show you the flip side, which is a really good borrower.
So are you not worried about that this guy's going to be a pain in the ass moving forward, or
Maybe he
or
could.
you're hoping to train him on how to be?
I think he's a younger.
So I'm not here to train anybody.
Surprise. So here, face the crew. This guy right here is what makes up a good borrower. But we've been working with this guy.
This is not a real. This is like a likeness, and so this is full disclosure.
No, but I'm being genuine. I'm being authentic. We've been working with Gabe for 8 years. When I think of a good borrower, I think of this guy right here. He is just first class all the way with everything he does. He's a giver. He doesn't take. He'll give something before he ever wants to take something. He's got amazing communication. He's organized and prepared. He values his reputation. You know, he wants it. He's genuinely relationship driven. You know, being proactive. You see a lot of investors being proactive or reactive. You know, the person that just every single time something comes up, they're just trying to react. Versus if you just do certain things from the beginning, things don't have to be that difficult. If you're proactive and you get out in front of things. Being a problem solver versus like, you know, I think of, we talk about this at Alpha, being a problem identifier, that's fine. But if you're going to be just a problem identifier and not be a problem solver, I would rather you just not even bring it up because I mean, it's great. Look, oh, that's wrong. Like, that's okay, thanks. Like, what are we going to do about it? Help us out. Like, be a part of the solution, not the problem. And obviously a team player. He epitomizes team, right? Together, everybody achieves more. And this collective right here is what this is all about. And that's why it's so powerful.
I actually think Gabe is the poster child for what I was talking about before about relationship building, right? And I like to razz myself when I'm up here at Gabe's events, because I wasn't lying before. When Gabe came to Alpha, he tried to do 2 deals. I personally said no to both of them. It was my decision. And so just picture this now. Gabe today, at a level intensive, he's doing 7 deals at a time, and I told him no. Twice. Not once, twice. So I like to razz myself on this because I look at his success and I go, man, what was I thinking? But what did he go do after those moments? He did those deals anyways. He just didn't do them with me. And what happened? He comes back to me and he goes, look, I did them. I did them great. Don't you want to lend me money? And I was like, yeah, I kind of want to lend you some money.
Yeah.
And then I lent him some money, and his project was immaculate. Happened exactly, at least to my eyes, happened exactly the way he said it was going to go.
It was a little messier than that.
Whether or not I knew about them, you see, I didn't know that it was messy. He made his payments, he took his draws, he did his project. And then he's like, all right, let's do another deal and another deal. That's relationship building, right? He didn't come to me, he knew, I was very clear. That's why I was transparent, like, Gabe, I can't do these deals because I can't do them this way. You've never done anything before. I can't do what you want to do. And he was like, all right, but I'm going to get them done anyways. And then he's like, look, I did it. Let's continue. And I was like, that's relationship building. It's saying, look, I'm going to engage with you. I know what you need from me. I'm going to give you that, and now you know what I need from you, so now you got to play ball also.
Yeah.
And that's the number one, like, that's relationship building. Walking up to me right now, we're gonna finish the slides. You're gonna come up and be like, listen, I need the deal that you said you weren't gonna do. I need 11, 7, 5, and 1. And I'm gonna be like, why? Why should I give it? The why? And it's like, because I want to build a relationship with you. I want you to be my only lender. I'm like, how do I know I'm gonna be your only lender? I don't know. You're promising it to me, but that doesn't have to go that way.
Yeah. And what Mike was saying, it's like with Gabe, with those, thank you, buddy.
Thank you guys.
Those couple deals in the beginning, we are far from perfect. So we're sitting up here, we are just like all of you. We make mistakes at times. One thing I take a lot of pride in is being able to admit to a mistake. And I'm sure there might have been people here in the room, if we've done something, we're the first people to say, listen, that's on us. We're gonna make it right. But what he basically did was he went out and he's like, I'm going to build my track record and I'm going to come back and I'm going to be like, here, look, I showed you that I could do those deals even without you. We're not always going to be the solution for everybody. Yeah. So, but I think what it is seeing that, like, we're in this for the long term, just like with him, 8 years later, I hope 10 years after this, 18 years later, we're all going to be sitting here and all talking about stories and sharing stories. And that's because we all are investing in each other, and that's how we grow.
Let's get interactive.
So being a better borrower, I mean,
At Alpha, right, which isn't necessarily true about a lot of other lenders, is our entire sales team is not commission based. 0 commissions on our sales team for this reason. Our sales team does not care how big the loan is, they just care that the loan comes in and that we're able to do it. And because what it sounds like here is the sales guy was like, listen, if you bring your deal up a little bit, I can make a few more dollars.
Yeah.
Because he's like, why not max out your leverages? Why not do it, right? And I mean, that's just bad practice, right? If your deal is your deal, your deal's
it's gonna come out. It's gonna come out in the wash anyway.
If anybody here wants to bring me a 50 LTV deal, I'm not gonna say no. That's just full stop. You want to bring me a 50 LTV deal? I love it. Good for me. Like, and that should be the same for any lender. Like, you shouldn't need to be maxed out.
Jesse.
I had a question.
comes to the leverage, right? It's not like, I think everybody thinks there's somebody like me who sits behind a desk and goes, I only want to give you 85% leverage because I only want to do it to you, and I can definitely do 95% leverage. And that's just not the case, right? Most of the time on leverage, especially in today's market, leverage is really like it's like a hard set. And the only ways to get certain leverage are very specific items, right? Like right now, I'd say good leverage across the board is like 85 loan to cost. And you want to get to 90. To get there is like, there's so many different things that have to happen that is far more than just me charging you more money, right? So it's not simply a lever of, if I take more money from you, I can give something more to you. That's actually incredibly disingenuous, right? Because if better leverage exists and the only obstacle is I just need to gouge you for some more money, that's like a terribly disingenuous way to do anything.
Yeah.
We're always going to try to maximize leverage, costs, and all these things for each borrower based on the data that we get. Like how many deals you've done, what your credit is, how big's the project. Like Matt was saying, are we upside down in rehab or those other things? Not doing that, number one, now breaks the honesty part, right? You want me to be honest with you. I want you to be honest with me. So when I'm saying to somebody like, listen, 85 is the best I can do, it's not because, pass me another point and I'll make it better for you. It's because truthfully, you gave me information and I'm giving you the best on the way back that I can do.
What typically happens, it's retrades. That's like the biggest.
I was going to bring that up.
Retrades. What we're and you didn't commit or promise. You said, I'm going to try, and we didn't get 90. But that was okay because the expectation had been set. That's not a retrade. That's not what a lot of us have experienced in, I don't want to shout out the lender that does this, but there's a lot of people in the mastermind who had deals in front of a lender who retraded at the 11th hour and screwed a lot of the guys. And so that's the big one.
And that's where we were talking about strong communication. It's also, it's expected on our end with you, forward facing.
Yeah, we're right.
I knew that there was potentially, we have multiple pools of capital that we manage, including our own money that we've raised. There's sometimes minor incremental things that we can adjust, but they're not always available. But in Gabe's case, I knew that in the back, because of the relationship, we've been working together for 8 years, I knew that it was possible, but I didn't want to commit. I didn't want to commit to it until we absolutely had it. Because the worst thing I could say is, Gabe, 90%, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, I'm like, it's gonna be 85. Sorry.
And that's retrading, right? That there's a difference there between being.
But the trust, and
there's also, this is also on the borrower side. Also, it's also, I'm going to call it selective hearing, right? That moment where we go.
Oh yeah, starting at, it's my favorite line.
80, or like he said to Gabe, it could be 80 or 80.